I hope everyone's doing well today. I wanted to talk about training, no duh, but specifically how we can categorize some of our training, and not necessarily categorization in terms of what exercise, but kind of the methods we use regardless of exercise. So the Russians wrote about this in the 60s and the 70s. And basically they outlined three general methods. That is the maximal effort method, where the goal is to lift as much weight as possible. The dynamic effort method, which is to move something as fast as possible. And then there is, I pause because it's kind of two methods in one. It's the repeat effort method. And the repeat effort method, there's kind of two subcategories, and that is do as many reps as possible, rest, recover, and do it again, or do as many reps as possible, rest so you partially recover, and do it again. Both are kind of different. When you rest to have full recovery, you have higher ability to produce output, and again, the emphasis there might be more on the output. I do 20 reps, I rest 4 minutes, and I try and get 20 reps again. Versus I do 20 reps, I rest 60 seconds, I do as many reps as I can, maybe I get 16, and so on. One's more metabolic and one's more output. So of those three, I'm sure you've heard of Westside talk about this, but each three can be utilized in training and used through different methods. Now, I have gum in my mouth. I apologize. I shouldn't make a video with gum in my mouth. It's like going to try not to swallow it through the video. But the first method, the maximal effort method, is typically done with big movements. Not necessarily the same for the dynamic effort method. The maximal effort method, again, typically done with big movements. Squat, bench, deadlift, rack pull, trap bar deadlift, so on and so forth. Why? Because you're lifting a really heavy weight. And when you're lifting really heavy weights, most movements that allow for that to done be the most safely, I guess, is typically big movements that we can use our whole body in. And those movements, we're trying to evoke lots of motor unit recruitment, so lots of muscles involved, because we're trying to train our nervous system's ability to exert and activate high levels of central drive. So your brain, your central nervous system, lots of command messages to the muscles to exert lots of effort. Developing the ability to access higher motor units at a larger capacity. It's almost like if we had a faucet, we're increasing the amount of water, almost like the faucet diameter, so more water comes out, the nozzle size. In the dynamic effort, we can use big movements and we can use smaller movements like jumping or medicine ball throws. You're obviously not going to do that with the maximal effort method, but you can also do squats and so on. This method is designed more for increasing the output of the water of a faucet. So the amount of force that we can produce quickly, rate of force development, high level of motor unit activation rapidly. So not just lots of commands sent to the muscles, but commands sent quickly so we can activate these muscles. Again, if we're thinking about the nozzle example, we have maximal effort is increasing the diameter of the nozzle. The dynamic effort is increasing the rate at which the water is coming out. And repetition method is increasing our storage capacity of water itself. So we might be increasing hypertrophy with the repetition method or other metabolic capacities. But in this case, we're increasing the amount of water we're pulling from. So we can exert high level of effort, maximal effort. Dynamic effort is the speed at which that water is coming out. And then the capacity is how much water we have access to. So those three methods can be utilized in training. And the repetition method, where we have repeated efforts, is typically done with smaller exercises. It's just because it's really demanding to do things like squats and deadlifts and big movements to failure. You typically just don't do that because that's a lot of metabolic demand. You might do it in smaller multi-joint, 1 and 2 joint movements, isolated movements, smaller movements per se. We'll just call it that. So those are 3 areas: the dynamic effort, the maximal effort method, and the repeat or repetition method. And those 3 things are not all the options you have. How you organize those and the sequence you put them in is obviously a talk for a different day. But those 3 kind of methods are a great foundation to begin strategizing your training. Because if you understand an athlete needs to have a higher general level of output, well, maybe focusing more on that maximal effort realm is beneficial. Again, it doesn't need to be 1 rep max every time. Maybe it's more of a spectrum, say 85 or 80% to 100%. Someone needs to produce more force quickly, training lighter weights, say anywhere from body weight even all the way up to 60% of 1 rep max explosively can be very beneficial. Or someone needs to put on muscle mass. Maybe that's where we do the repetition method. I can't speak, I'm sorry. So we can put on more hypertrophy, or maybe just general capacity to perform work because we're increasing the total volume. Time and place is up to you. I just wanted to explain the 3 types of methods. Again, the maximal effort, the dynamic effort, and repetition method. Within that repetition, we have 2 subcategories: full rest and full recovery and partial recovery. And then how you organize it's up to you. So as always, I appreciate you guys listening. If you enjoy this content, please feel free to share it with others. Comment below, like, subscribe to this page. I want to make this page more interactive. Again, I like posting fun things like me doing a watermelon review, but I also want to share some science as well. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoy. And as always, thanks for listening.